Well, I hope you're ready for something special, something unique. Not always enjoyable, but very distinctive. I'm going to take you to a place where we will observe a cultural practice. Yes, these are the definitions of culture, but let me take you to the center of the earth. It's a bragging right, and yes, it is. Center of the earth. You recognize the colors? Well, you do know the one place that I take you to all the time. I'm going to take you today to go and observe the pattern of ways between the living and the departed. I want you to see how families rally around and organize these events. The videos I'm about to show you, the clips at the beginning of these are actual clips I recorded from my own experiences from family events. Yeah, you will see me featured in it heavily because I wanted you to see how authentic and how real this is. And then the second half of the video features somebody who knows the culture and can explain the culture in detail. So I'm not looking to explain the culture myself. I will let you meet somebody who can. Most of you are used to going to funerals and seeing these things. This is not too different from anywhere. In Ghana, this also happens. Yes, in the final moments. But I'm going to take you to the razzmatazz that happens before we get here. And yeah, we will see scenes from a church, the way most of you might be familiar with. And then I'll show you the crazy bits that are uniquely Ghanaian and unlike anything else you've seen before. Yes, we actually do dance at these events, believe it or not, we do. People ask me, why do you dance? Well, it's happened. We've rallied, we've cried, and when we get to the end, we accept that life has to move on. We have to celebrate the life a person has had. And yes, we do eat a lot. I know it's a bit different, but yeah, we do eat. And then when we finish eating, what is the party happens. And I'll explain how all this works if you are patient. But if you're ready, let's get straight into it and discover funeral rites, Ghanaian style. Well, hi, have you subscribed? Well, I hope you have. Welcome to this episode. Welcome to quite a heavy topic, but I am going to use this heavy topic to make light as much as I can. So let's start from a fun note. I'm going to take you on a cultural trip. We're going to go to Mampong and learn details of funeral rites. But let me start by sharing some of my experiences of funeral rites in Ghana. Ghana is very cultural. We stick to our beliefs and our traditions, and one of the best times to see traditions and beliefs on display is when a person passes and in the final funeral rites. So this very scene you see is actually from my father's funeral. This is my nearest and dearest mourning my father in his very final funeral rites. I want to pay homage to the family and I want to pay homage to my father. It was a terrible occasion, but in the terribleness of it, when everything had crumbled, we also found ways as a family to bond, and that's what funerals are all about. When you go to a Ghanaian funeral and you don't understand how we do things, you might misunderstand the smiles, you might misunderstand people dancing. It's our own unique way of saying that it has happened and we can't do anything about it. So we're going to manage it as best as we can, and we're going to bond over it. It's unique, it is special, and it's very Ghanaian, and I want you to see it today. Anyway, hopefully, some of us are terrible dancers and some of us are better dancers. That's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to get to know the cultural practices, to get to know how things are done differently, and to immerse yourself in the whole experience. So let me say this to you. Be thou not judgmental, be open-minded, watch and discover, and obviously let's know your feedback, right? Depending on who it is, you will have dignitaries turn up. So for some of them, you will find, so this person is actually titled, this person is a chief. You can tell it because of the entourage and also because of the umbrella that the person works with. Depending on whose funeral it is, you will find that commoners might come, dignitaries might come. The occasion itself and how it's presented is actually determined by the person and their caliber. It's determined by the family they come from. It is determined by the tribe they come from. And yes, you might end up with such rich displays from elderly statesmen, because this particular one also is a family funeral. This is the funeral of my father-in-law, a very respectable, titled man. And yeah, you can tell from the way it's organized. You can tell the caliber of the person from it. Anyway, let me take you around. Let you meet my peoples. Let you discover how we say farewell. It is very distinctly different from how you might have experienced a funeral in the West. Well, we are not trying to be Western. We are just being us, authentically us, and nothing but us. Anyway, like I said, there's a lot of things that go on. Yeah, you have the display of solidarity. You would have the gifts, you will have the arrival of dignitaries, you will have all sorts of things go on at events like that. And you have to remember that at the very heart of this is actually a family mourning event, a rallying round of a family, discovering strengths that individuals in that family sometimes even don't know until a passing happens. But anyway, let's do funerals. Yay! We're going to go to Mampong, and we're actually going to go and meet people who are custodians of culture. We're going to have an elderly gentleman explain the actual rights of a royal, and then we will look at that of a commoner. And yes, in our funerals, we have all of them. So this is the traditional mourning day. And after this, usually on the Sunday, depending on the person's faith, you might also see what most of you might be familiar with. Actually, this was on the second half of that day when the body comes to church and we do the final funeral rites in the church because this person was a Christian. And so the final parting of ways happened in a church before the burial happened. So depending on the person, you will see so many different facets. Well, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you learn from it, and please let's hear your feedback. Please try not to be judgmental, and definitely at all times try to be respectful in your comments. Ask questions. I would love to answer them. I'll be back in the comment section to read and to respond. Enjoy, ask. Yes, sometimes in the final procession we do dance. Don't ask me why, but we do. Like I said, my people are different. We do things our way, we weep, we wail, and then it's already happened. So we begin to rally, and you will see that usually in the final funeral rites of anybody. Enjoy, and let's go to Mampo to meet the custodians themselves, to teach us the actual culture, which is the purpose of the video today. If you've not subscribed to the channel, this is a good time to do so, and turn on the notification bell.
Welcome to Ama Mason channel. Please, if you get this video, you try as much as possible to subscribe and you share for the whole world to come across this video. Right now we are at Mampong Buenim. We are at Mampong Buenim, and there's a certain funeral rite going on over here. I've already told you that we are coming to learn about the Ashanti traditional funeral rite. But concerning the funeral rite, we have so many types of this funeral that we are talking about. We have funeral for anyone, and we have funeral for chiefs, kings, queens, even president, and so on and so forth. Right now, there's a certain funeral going on over here, and the chief of this town is dead, and they are performing his funeral rite. I have my grandpa over here with me. My grandpa is here, so I'm going to take off my cap and greet him, and he is going to tell us more and more about how the Ashantis perform their funeral rites concerning the death of chiefs. So, Uncle, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so, Uncle, I leave everything to you. I want you to tell us from the early stage, immediately the king dies, maybe the chief died today. Do they just tell everybody at once in the town that Nana Sumasi is dead, or they wait for a certain time, or how do they start? And after the death, how do they also install, they just install a new chief? I want you to tell us everything from the Genesis to the Revelation.
Thank you very much. In our Akan, when the chief dies, immediately you don't break the news.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe maybe the chief or the king can come alive again.
Oh, okay.
So they will wait for some time. It can be 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 months before breaking the news that a chief or a king has passed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
They can wait for about a month.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or even 2 months.
Yes.
Before they break the news.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
They have the belief that maybe the king can come back to life again. So they wait for some time before breaking the news. So when the time comes and the news comes out that the king is dead, or in Ashanti we have only one king, that's Otumfuo.
Yeah, okay.
Any other chief, or they are all called chiefs.
Okay.
Only the Asante Hene is a king.
Oh, okay.
No chief in Ashanti can call himself a king.
Oh, okay.
Their title is chief. They all show allegiance to the Otumfuo.
Oh, okay.
So when they break the news, the kingmakers, immediately the king passed away. The person who is the second in command is the Abantintom Hene. Preferably they call that king Kunti Hene.
Oh, okay.
Immediately any king, any chief dies, the Kunti Hene takes over the community or the town.
Okay.
Because he is the second in command after the king or the chief. Like Asante Mai, the Kunti Hene to the Asante kingdom is the Bantima Hene.
The Kunti Hene?
Yeah.
To the Ashanti?
Yeah, it's the Bantima Hene.
It's Bantima Hene?
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah. The Kunti Hene to the Asante Hene is Bantima Hene.
Okay, so what my grandpa is saying right now is they don't just break the news, they wait for a certain time, and if that time comes, the only person to break that news is the Kunti Hene of that town. So not knowing that Kunti Hene to Otumfuo is Bantima Hene.
The Kunti Hene is the second in command of any traditional council. Yeah. And like Asante Mai, the rank of Otumfuo is the chief of Mampong, Santi Mampong.
Nana
Osei Bonsu.
Okay.
He is the right hand side of Otumfuo.
Oh, okay.
So when Asante Mai meet, the second in command is Nana Osei Bonsu. When Asante Mai meet, but when Kumasi traditional council meet, the next in command is Kunti Hene, that's the Bantima Hene.
Oh.
Do you know the difference?
Yes.
We have the Asante kingdom.
Yes.
That Otumfuo is the king.
Yes.
When Otumfuo is not around, Nana Mampong Hene is the next in command.
Okay.
But when the Kumasi traditional council,
yes,
I'm talking about Kumasi Central alone, the right wing of Otumfuo is the Bantima Hene.
Okay.
But when generally the Santa Mike, yes, Nana was able to is the next to Asantehene. Okay, then let's move on.
Yes.
After breaking the news, the Kontihene and the royal family head, that's a Bushapeni of the royal family, and the Kontihene and the elders, they meet, the kingmakers, they meet and decide they will do the dotiye. Dotiye is no chief, we just burying the chief and later do the installation or find somebody to succeed him. So the dotiye is celebrating the final funeral rites of, but no, burying the chief who has died and later install a chief, and the chief will come and do the final funeral rites of the late chief.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yeah, so what Grandpa is saying, if the chief just passed away and the news is being spread out, now the chiefs, the Kontihene and the Busuapeni, they will all come together and find a day to bury the chief. Now after burying the chief, then they install another chief so that he will come and perform the last funeral for the buried chief.
That's it.
Okay, Uncle,
that's right. So what we are doing now is Gotiye. They have chosen somebody. And in Akan we say you are tutu abono, hitting that person with bullets. So that he will make sure the burial has been taking place.
All right.
So after the burial, if the chief has not been buried, nobody can dress up as a king or a chief of the community.
Wow.
Because the dead chief has not been buried. Right now, if you go to the chief's house, the chief has been decorated with the chief ornaments and everything. Till tonight that the chief is buried, nobody, no chief can regard himself as a chief or king, unless the dead chief has been buried. So after the burial tonight, the person or the royal who has been hit with a bullet, in Akan say Yatutu Akan, the kingmakers and the head of the family has come together and said this person has been hit with a bullet.
Nana, I have a question.
Okay.
You was talking about if he's being buried tonight, meaning you are going to bury him this night.
Yes.
Why don't you bury him during the daytime as we normal people we are being buried, but during the night?
As custom demands, any chief has to be buried at midnight. That time, few people, and if even you are royal, you are not being entitled to be at the cemetery, the royal cemetery. If you are a royal, like the family who chooses the chief, you are not being eligible to go to the cemetery, the royal cemetery, unless you slaughter a sheep.
Wow.
Yes. As a royal, you can be a chief in future. And the royal cemetery is meant for the dead chiefs. So if you are alive and you are royal, you can't go there. If for one or two things you want to go, you have to slaughter a sheep.
Wow. Okay, during that night, can people be on the street? Because you know, let me say, if something happens at Bantuma, you know Bantuma to be a very busy town during the night. Should all the people be asleep, or they are going to announce for every person to be inside, or there can be people roaming about and you just...
Never. They will make an announcement to the public. The chief will be buried tonight. So from, let's say, 9 o'clock to 2 a.m., nobody should be out. Everybody should be indoors.
So you mean that is what is going to happen today?
Yes. And the light leading to the royal cemetery will be put off.
Wow.
That's how you marry the chief.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason is you tell me that Nana is going to Accra.
Oh, okay.
And nobody is supposed to see how Nana is going.
Oh, okay. And
only the let's say the mama and the jase hene and sometimes the bamuhine. You have a chief who's responsible for the
cemetery.
royal cemetery.
Oh, okay.
That chief is called bamuhine. Bamuhine.
Okay.
He holds the key to the royal cemetery.
Okay. Now, Nana, I want you to tell us how the dead chief is being laid on the bed.
Yeah.
Because I saw something like cocoa and so many things. And how many days that you bury him, like you lay him on stage till the day that you.
When a chief dies, you don't bury him like ordinary person.
Wow.
Yes. Even if not the COVID, Nana should have laid in state from Wednesday, last Wednesday.
Today is Saturday.
But because of the COVID,
so Nana have to be on the bed.
Yes,
on
for
the dead bed
3-4 days from
wow.
Wednesday. But because of the COVID, we limited the days and we started laying him in state. Friday morning.
Oh. Okay,
so yesterday he was in the state for the whole day.
Okay.
And tonight the burial will take place.
Oh, okay. Okay. And talking about the cocoa things over there.
We have been saying Nana is gone to Accra cottage.
Okay.
In Akans, when you say Accra, it's a cottage.
Okay.
Cottage is a place 1 or 2 or few people live there.
Yeah.
And that place, no light. Yeah, you see cocoa trees, palm trees, forest.
Yeah.
And that place is called Accra cottage. So you portray Nana is at the cottage. And so when you are going to the cottage, you will see many houses there. The only thing you see is trees and palm trees and like forest. Nana is at the forest. And so we
portray
that place as a forest.
Okay. So Nana being on the stage, can anyone at all just go and look at the corpse?
Yeah. Everybody is entitled to go to see the corpse. Only that traditionally, if not the press, the security, who can go there with the like what you are wearing? I mean the clothes you are wearing. If you are not a pressman, the security or those people who are the undertakers or not, you can't be wearing trousers to go and pass through there.
Wow.
And if you are a woman, when you go there, you have to remove your cap.
Even Nana's wife?
Yes. If you are a woman, female, and you want to see the corpse, Nana laying in state, when you get closer to the corpse, you have to remove your. And if you are a man or a male, you have to.
That's
they say show your shoulder. Show your shoulder. Let your shoulders comes out.
Yes.
Everybody have to see your shoulder.
Meaning that
you go down, you show the respect to the yes.
Okay. So if the now installed chiefs come and take place, is he going to marry Nana's wife or
no?
Have that happened before?
Yes, we have Nkonyaire.
Okay.
As for this our community here, you don't have Nkonyaire today's warriors too.
Okay.
But when you get to Jamasi, you have Nkonyaire. Nkonyaire meaning whoever succeed the dead chief, you have to marry that
woman
who is the Nkonyaire. the chief's wife.
I get you now. Nana, I think you want to go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
We are going to.
Thank you very much too. Thank you.